right, welcome to another edition of the Brian Turner Basketball Podcast. This podcast is going to be a little bit different than some of the ones that we're kind of used to because this is going to be just like a little short message. But I wanted to get on here and just talk about the underdog. Do people still root for the underdog? I've been kind of like a sort of the underdog my whole life. And I gravitate to the underdog. All of the underdog stories that you may hear, that you may see in movies, I gravitate to those type of stories because I embody those moments of being the underdog. So when I'm sitting back and I'm watching the NCAA tournament, the first thing that I'm rooting for in all of the games is I'm rooting for the underdog. Who's going to make some of those moments that are magical that we're going to talk about for the next 10, 15, 30 years? And right now, I think we're kind of seeing that. Starting back in the 80s, we've always had upsets. We've always had teams that define the role of going out the David versus Goliath type story. This year, I think we're starting to see that. We're seeing that in a couple of games, and just going back to the 80s, going back to the 90s, and even kind of getting caught up. You've always had underdogs in the tournament, but I think this is kind of special. Some of the games that I remember just very vividly just watching the NCAA tournament, I'm looking at games where I'm seeing number 10 Butler teams, number 8 seed Butler teams, number 11 seed VCU teams advance to the tournament, advance throughout the tournament, advance to the Final Four. They were able to pull it off. Probably everybody in that locker room probably knew that they could do it. But just on the outside looking in, people probably didn't realize what was in that locker room. And hats off to all of the coaches that keep pumping that energy and pumping that underdog mentality into a lot of their kids when they're playing. But when I'm watching this tournament, the first thing that I'm seeing is I'm like, man, we got a lot of upsets. The University of Maryland in Baltimore County, I believe, did one of the remarkable things a couple years ago when they were the number 16 seed and they upset a number 1 seed. This year, we got a chance to see a number 15 seed upset a number 2 seed, and not just any number 2 seed. They upset one of the most historical school programs in college basketball history, the Kentucky Wildcats. And I guarantee that conversation that coach had with those kids in that locker room was us against the world. Nobody in this locker room, other than the people that's in this locker room, think that we can go out and win this game. And they did that. They upset and they shocked the world. And people didn't even know who this team was. The St. Peter's Peacocks. Still don't know where this team is. Think they're out of like New Jersey. But they're rolling right now. They advanced to the Elite Eight. And then on the flip side of that coin, they're going up against another Cinderella team. And some people may not want to call them a Cinderella team, but I'm going to call them a Cinderella team. The North Carolina Tar Heels. They have been defying all of the odds this tournament. People have kind of counted them out. First-year head coach, a lot of McDonald All-Americans. So they had the potential, and I guarantee that in that locker room, they feel like that it's us against the world. But my message today, I just wanted to kind of point out the underdog story. A lot of people root against the underdog, but just watching this tournament, it just got me so inspired and so excited that I just said, man, just let me do a quick little video just talking about the underdog. I too was the underdog. Growing up, didn't have a home gym to play in high school, had to go to junior college, had to fight and claw my way to pretty much doing everything that I wanted to do in life. But I carried that chip on my shoulder and used that as energy and it helped me get to the next level. It helped me try to pursue a basketball scholarship. It helped me to try to pursue a degree in college. It helped me to try to pursue different job opportunities, having that chip on my shoulder, because I'm always looked at as the underdog. And there's going to be times out here where you're going to be feeling like you're less than, that you can't get stuff done. Kind of take a journey back through this NCAA tournament and look at all of these teams that you start off with 66 teams, 64 teams, you come down to 1. But you have to have that mentality like you can do it, that things can get done. And if you don't take nothing else from this message, I want you just to take this, that try sometimes to root for the underdog, making something out of nothing. I think if you take that approach throughout life, man, you'll get somewhere. You'll be able to reach and do anything that you're trying to do, making something out of nothing. rooting for the underdog.